Father Doyle, Mass. Okay, let's call the meeting to order. It's Tuesday, May 28, 2019. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. First, I want to apologize. I've got bronchitis, so, but anyway. Minutes and reports received and filed. Commissioner Committee liaison reports, upcoming meetings and events.
We got MSBCP meeting Friday morning. And prison concert Saturday out at the fairgrounds. That's about it. Slow week. Getting ready for it.
So tomorrow at 10, we have a meeting on HR RFQ responses. Thursday at 8, retirement reception for Mary out at the health department. And then supposed to have a meeting on with some individuals on a medical marijuana testing facility on Thursday at 3. And then Sheridan Bates retirement open house is Friday at 2.
What's the HR one? I mean, I know we had that on the schedule, but we didn't have an event made for that.
Right.
Okay. I didn't have that on. I was looking at the emails.
Yeah, it's, I think it was just, we were just gonna try to talk to some of the respondents on that, and so if you guys, wanna attend, great.
Okay, when is it?
It's, Wednesday at 10. So,
And basically, we were just gonna come up with interview questions and who we wanted to interview.
Okay.
Just the group. There wasn't any, we weren't taking to any of the vendors until June 5th.
Okay.
So if you guys are coming, then I need to have that, put it in an agenda item.
I didn't have it on my calendar. I don't,
That's why I didn't have it as an agenda. If you want to submit any questions that you want.
Yeah, just mail you questions if you got them.
Okay. So then we won't have it as an
Okay.
agenda item.
okay.
But if you want to be involved on June 5th, I need to know that too. That'd be the actual phone interviews, and I think that actually the one that we're doing is coming from Columbia.
Okay.
So it won't be phone, they'll be here.
Okay.
So if you're interested in that, let me know.
Send us an email on it.
Okay, do you want to, then I need to make that an agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
we'll need to decide whether that'll be closed or open, right?
Yeah, I guess
I think it has to be open.
the bids were open.
It's like questions for any other contractor.
Right.
I've got Senator Blunt's here today, so meet with him at 2. We got the Kids Fest 2 Saturday, and then MSP concert. I will be at the Health Department Thursday, so that's all I've got. Any commission comments? Okay, I think we're gonna, this is not on the agenda, but we're gonna declare an emergency. Bill Farr with Emergency Management. We have an emergency government proclamation and/or resolution of a state of emergency in Cole County and the city of Jefferson.
Yes. Basically, this is the document that we need to complete so we can start our, it's the public government assistance, so we can put in for what we've done now. It's going to be a very long process, but this is the very first piece that we have to do as far as the commission and the mayor to actually have an emergency proclamation issued, that we have been in a disaster, and we're gonna continue to do that, but as the wording is, it's basically just getting this first piece of document sent up to the state. So we need to get that signed. We did have to, and I think we talked to the other commissioners the other day, we had to do a memorandum of understanding with the SAVE Coalition, so I had to get Sam to do that for me the other day, which was, I think, Saturday, trying to remember. So the SAFE Coalition is a structural assessment visual evaluation. So these are actually professional engineers. They brought 21 of them in at our request to look at our buildings in the county and assess the amount of damage that we've had. And so this all kind of goes together. But today I'd just like to get the commission to enact this proclamation so we can start the paperwork through the state and get on the books. And that's the main thing we need to do today. So it's a standard, just a standard proclamation that is in our local emergency operations plan. I'll answer any questions.
Is there any kind of update since Saturday that we need to be aware of, Bill?
Yes, lots of updates, things that's going on. We've got a lot of people in town helping a lot of folks. Just amazing when you drive around and see all the different volunteer groups that are in our town. The Samaritan Purse group, the Assemblies of God, is set up out at the First Assemblies of God there across from Schulte's. We have Missouri Southern Baptist crews in town, Rubicon's in town, about 50 or 60 members. Originally, right off the bat, about 2 o'clock in the morning after the storm, already saw the need for shelter. So I contacted the United Way. We set up a shelter at the old Sears building. Not a shelter, I'm sorry. The shelter was set up at Thomas Jefferson School. Red Cross is running that. I think the first night there was 50 to 60 people there. Jefferson City Transit literally took a bus and parked it down in some of the heavy affected area, and those people, once we got them on there, we moved them out to the shelter. So they set up the cots. Thomas Jefferson School crew came in that morning, cooked breakfast, lunch. Salvation already been taking meals there in the evening. I think we're down the other night with 17 families. We had to do some moving around on that because summer school started this morning. So yesterday we moved the clients to a back part of the room, so they're totally separate. Worked out a lot with Jeff City Public Schools on that. We're very, very fortunate they've been there for us. On top of that, we knew the volunteers were calling, so we set up a volunteer reception center at the mall at the old Sears building, that portion. So the state brought in, it's called AmeriCorps from St. Louis. Once they got there and set up, anyone that calls the 211 number can get on a list, either volunteer or if they need assistance, and that's all run through them. So that takes a lot of that off of us. This week we'll be setting up what we call a MARC, M-A-R-C, which is a multi-agency resource center. As of yesterday, I think that's going to be done at the Link. So it's kind of like a job fair. There'll be a lot of different institutions there to help people. They can come there and get assistance for funding or housing, or that's going on. We hope by Thursday, Friday, we're going to have the the donation center set up at the old Capital West Christian Church out by the fairgrounds. So people wanting to make donations of water or clothing or whatever, that's going to be up and running too. So a lot of things kind of happened real quick in the last few days for getting assistance for the people in the community. Other than that, I can tell you that the city and county has worked tremendously together. The debris removal is going very well. As you see, these groups out help carrying 2x4s, sheet metal, whatever, getting it out and clearing that stuff up. So it's pretty amazing when you get out and see the affected area. So what we was able to do that very first, I guess the second day now, is with the SAVE Coalition. They literally go down and put a GPS tracker at every building that appears to be damaged. And they put a placard on there, green, the building was not significantly affected. Yellow means there's something, red means it's totally destroyed. So that's a little over 2,000 buildings in the city, and I think we're up probably close to 600 in the county, something like that. And we'll get all those figures, but they lay that on a map, a GPS map. Melissa Johnson been real good to help support that on the county side. So those are gonna be very significant figures, because we still have to do this, the documents we'll have to do is every building, dollar loss, how much it's gonna cost. And that will all go into FEMA. FEMA will then take that, come in and bring their own people, do their assessments. So this is all just the starting points. Right now, the main thing has always been, of course, public and life safety. But now we're rolling into that recovery mode. It's going to be quite a while. It's going to be quite a while. We know that. But what we're trying to do is get this assistance for the people that need it. Otherwise, we'd have lines coming out of City Hall and county just wanting the resources. So these folks are here to help us, and they're doing a great job with it.
You've done a good job too, Bill, and I know your wife's business was pretty much
Yep, wife and house.
wiped
Yep,
out, so I'm,
at the house too.
continuing to do what you're doing at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. So basically, this is just the start of the process, is that we are declaring a declaration of an emergency. And that's all we need.
Guys good?
Yep.
I move that we sign the emergency government proclamation and/or resolution of a state of emergency in Cole County, City of Jefferson.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. Get
Thank-
that.
Thank
and
you.
I'll have
Thank
to
you,
get,
Bill.
take it
Thanks,
over.
Bill.
The mayor signed that, and I'll get your document. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Bids and contracts, unfinished business, accounts payable review.
Yes, I don't, no, we don't have.
It's not on there.
No.
No, okay. We're gonna move the sheriff
Oh,
up.
it is.
Pardon?
You're all right. Go ahead.
Okay, we're gonna move the sheriff up. He said he's gotta be somewhere, so we're gonna go to the signing of the 2019 Bulletproof Vest Grant application.
Sure. There's coffee in there, but it's not me because I don't drink coffee. Much.
A little wet.
This is just the signing of the application, right?
Yes.
I move that we sign the Bulletproof Vest Grant application for 2019.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Signing of the 2019 COPS Grant application.
This is the COPS grant that we do for all the schools. What I've done was, there's a summary here of all the school districts that are participating. We are just a pass-through agency. There's no money at all for us.
Thank you.
Hopefully you guys signed that part. But anyway, it's all, we've done this once before, but you can look through it now. If you have any questions, we have to answer. It was not saying we'll get it. We're just applying for it.
So this deals with like terrorism, stuff like that?
Security.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
I move that we sign the 2019 COPS grant application.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we'll go back to discussion of copy machines and circuit court.
So this is a follow-up discussion from last week regarding the purchase of copiers and multifunction machines for the courts. I guess the courts couldn't be here today, but they asked me to talk to you about it. So what I did was late Friday afternoon,
Go ahead.
late Friday afternoon, I sent off basically just asking for a competitive quote to see where we were at in the pricing. And Marco provided a quote that was about $3,000 or $4,000 less than their current quote that they have from Rico. So, so anyway, with the same feature function sets, and actually there's a machine that's a little bit faster. So Marco came in below that, so I would ask that you go ahead and approve the purchase of 10 multifunction devices from Marco. I have an updated pricing schedule.
I got a copy, I think, so, this is,
That you have this one because it's still more.
oh. Huh.
Oh, well, I,
It's not the one you emailed.
No, it's not.
So is this the most current one then, Brian?
Yes, yeah, the one I just handed you. So the cost per copy, maintenance-wise, is about we call it 2 mils, 2.7 mils lower than the Rico price as far as the maintenance, and it includes all the same things.
I guess this one that I got, this older one that I got here had a typo or something on it.
So what happened was, I reached out to Marco just to make sure we were comparing apples to apples.
Mm-hmm.
And on the larger multifunction machine, they had not included a fax kit, so they went ahead and added to the price. That's why the price actually went up from the previous quote.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
And Brian, these are also cooperative.
yeah, they are all cooperative procurement contracts, but they're actually below contract price.
So they're better than cooperative prices.
Right. Yeah, so the purchase price on the last page of the document is $34,228.07 for those 10 devices. And I was looking for the purchase price on the Rico offer. I think it was like 37, something, almost 38, I think. if I remember right. Let's see. $37,387 on the Rico quote.
You guys good with purchasing them, or?
I think so. I think that's,
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week, about how many there are and everything, and it's got to do a little bit with how it's laid out over there. The
Yeah.
Old building, hard to get them all in one area to be able to use them in a efficient manner, but unfortunately, that's what we gotta deal with.
And then, I'd like to see whatever they have left in their lease line item in the circuit clerk's budget, use that to pay some of this. And then the remainder just come out of capital, or,
Is that where we've done the copying machines? Out of capital? Okay.
But we can't divide that bill and pay part of it out of the,
okay.
we can? Okay,
or transfer it, whatever's best.
right. Yeah, whatever they had in there for leasing. And I don't know where the maintenance will come in at.
They have two separate amounts in that line, so I think 10,005 was what they had in there for the lease itself.
Okay, so it's separated out.
Some's for the per copy stuff and some's for the lease.
Right, right, yeah.
What's the
So
lease
the
part?
per copy is basically the maintenance part of that, right? Okay. Good with that plan?
Yeah.
I move that we approve the purchase of 10 multifunction copiers, printers with Marco.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Brian.
Discussion of damage to EMS property due to tornado.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Before we do anything, I just wanted to commend our staff. They did an outstanding job during the response phase of the tornado. They came together, people came in off duty without us even having to call them at that point. And then the mutual aid we received from the surrounding agencies, I believe it was 12 different agencies that provided us mutual aid. So at some point, I'll go and make presentations to them to say thank you for the strong work that they provided to us. So I just wanted to say that not always does our staff get the recognition they deserve, but I wanted to take a moment and say they did an outstanding job. So related to the tornado, we had 2 ambulances that were in Braun's facility being fixed when the tornado went through. It was in the main shop area that did take significant damage and destroyed that building. The ambulances did sustain significant damage as well. They're pretty impressive pictures when you look at them to the amount of damage that was done to them. So we can't get into them right now. They're still, the walls are unstable in the building for us to be able to get into them, but we were able to go to the exterior of them and walk around, and we got pictures. So with that, we are kind of now into a pinch that we are now down 2 ambulances, and we've just had another one go down with a fuel pump, or not a fuel pump, injection pump as well. So what we'd like to recommend is purchasing 2 ambulances with the premise that if we get insurance money, then that would take care of these. If not, these would technically be then the 2020 purchases through the replacement schedule that we had going. So we would be pushing the purchase up about 6 months in order to try to facilitate this. We can get these done in July, have them inspected in July, which is extremely moving that process forward pretty quickly. So we recommend that we go ahead and do that because we've put our, not we, but we are in a bind at this point.
When are they supposed to let us know about how they're gonna?
So my understanding is that they have to remove them from the building, and then the adjuster then has to come out and take a look at them, and then they send them to another person to make the final determination. So I guess there's an inspector and then I guess an adjuster or something like that. So it's a 2-part process to where they are. Those vehicles are high mileage, so I would suspect that based on the mileages of them, that it would not be cost effective for them to try to fix them based on the mileage. If our policy is a depreciating value policy and not a replacement policy.
Debbie, we had the VIN numbers you sent us. Do we know what year those were?
I'm not sure if you need to sign this
Do you know what mileage you had on them? Ryan?
I can get you that here pretty quickly.
But we don't know if they're gonna total the boxes, right?
Well, so generally they're considered one and the same because
Okay.
it's one VIN number. And then if you were to take and try to look at trying to do a remount on those, you come up with one. I don't know if there would be a legal liability issue for us because we've taken something that's been in a storm damage and then put them on to something else of the significance that it was. The other issue that you would have is it's not just a chassis at that point that you would have to try to remount. You still have to do all of those other things to make that, so that cost goes up. That's where I think you're gonna come into where they're gonna total them. I mean, I think the one is totaled without question. I think the second one, because of the mileages and things like that, I don't see them doing that. That's why our proposal is that if they do not total them for some reason, that then these would be considered the 2020 purchases. We'd just be moving that up a little sooner. If they do total them, then we would then proceed later on with those 2020 purchases, would be the working plan
So
on that.
the cots and some of the equipment in the box, I mean, we don't know anything right now
So we were able to.
about what is salvageable.
So we were able to retrieve some of those items out of there. The lifting systems that were in the back, we have reached out to Stryker. Once we're able to gain access, those will have to go through a review from them to do like basically a load assessment. I don't suspect that they'll total those and we can remove those out of there because they were non-load bearing. Had it been in an actual accident with a load or something that would have created kinetic energy to a different, forces that would have pushed it side to side or something like that, I do think that they would be total because that's pretty common. But because there was no load bearing, I don't believe those, and we should be able to remove those out and put them back in to the new ones. So.
I have them both, the 2014, as of the end of last year. One of them had 156,000 and the other one had 141,000.
That was 110.
They were both 2014s.
That's what I showed.
Yeah, that's what I'm showing too. 2014s. Trying to get the mileage for you.
Now we usually take it in.
I think that we should move forward with the purchase, so.
So the one has got 158, 185 is what that one's showing, and then the other one is showing. And I could be off a little bit because they haven't been updated in a couple of days, it looks like. 162, 185.
Well, even if they fix them, it's gonna take longer than that to fix, so we probably need to get something coming, and if we're gonna get them anyway. So, yeah, I'm all right with moving forward with it.
See, I think we need to kind of wait until we see what happens to these. We've got two coming. One's here already, right?
That's correct.
So
One
we
is
would have
there.
taken two out of service with
So
these two new ones.
they weren't being taken out of service. They were our spares because we've had
They
so
would go
many
reserve.
maintenance issues. So this morning I got a phone call. We have another one that's having maintenance problems. We are not, right now, my understanding is allowing it to go out of the county because until we figure out what's wrong with it. So we're down the two that were in the shop. We have the one with the injector issue. Now we have this one that's, we're trying to figure out what's wrong with it. That has now put us at one spare currently. And if we have any other maintenance issues, we will now start losing trucks.
I'll have to say Travelers have done a good job. They were here the day after the tornado. They did go out there and visit them on Saturday. They're saying that, as soon as they get them out of the building by Tuesday or Wednesday this week, then they'll get another inspector to come and inspect them. And then the appraisal should be ready by next week. So that's what the lady had said on Saturday. But they have a lot of property around, so they have a lot to inspect, so.
They were at the mercy of that building too. 'Cause there was walls leaning in on them suckers. I wouldn't wanna be in there. So.
But you two guys are prepared to go and do it. I would rather wait, but just to see what, we're spending money we don't have yet. And I thought we don't even have Wondermere's ambulance in operation yet. And then we're gonna order two more. I thought we were gonna kind of test them.
Well, so, I mean, if you're going off of that premise, I've had 7 of them that operated perfectly. I mean, we didn't have
Yeah.
any long-term things. So from a quality standpoint, from the actual manufacturer, I don't think that's an issue.
No,
If you're wanting to test them within the county, just for the trucks that we actually have on hand. But that was the plan, but I think the tornado, in my opinion, changed that plan a little bit.
Well,
I mean, really, the issues that we're having with the ambulances are irrelevant of the box.
Correct.
I mean, the issues that we're having with the ambulance are due to diesel issues, chassis issues. They deal with the truck.
yeah,
So, I mean, obviously, the two new ones are coming, they're gas motors. We're trying to, fix some of that. So a lot of our big expensive items have dealt with the actual vehicle itself, not the box. So. I move that we approve the purchase of the 2 ambulances per this quote.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You need a signature on this, Matt, or?
I will. If you guys want to do it after the fact.
That's fine.
Okay.
I've got a list of where you have to sign and stuff, so we can get after that.
We'll also need a transfer and a purchase order.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Just
not,
don't make us fill out that credit app. Oh my God, I thought I killed you.
don't do that. Okay.
Before we go into closed session, can we talk about some of the storm damage and stuff and,
I've got a briefing, I was just gonna ask if we could, because I've got a briefing to go
okay,
to.
so could we clarify what we are gonna pick up, what we're not gonna pick up, just so that people are aware?
Starting Thursday, we started picking up, once we got our roads opened up, we started looking at debris removal, just woody debris at this time. We were able to work with a landowner next to our lot down at Eugene to be able to burn. Their lot was already gravelled to where we can haul in there and stuff. They don't want to be paid for anything. The only thing they ask in return is to remove a few trees off of our lot. We've agreed to do that. We are actively burning trees down there at that site. We picked up, as of this morning, before we started, approximately 180 dump truck loads of debris and hauled down there and are in the process. Well, it's been burning ever since we started hauling down there, so.
It's all burned on.
Yeah, when I went by this weekend, it was all burned up what we had, so we're keeping abreast of what we got coming in. That's what we were trying to do. We don't want to try and get in where we got a large stockpile like we had over there at the El Jimador site when we were doing the ice storm. Right now what we're doing is we're picking up just material that's on our right-of-way. If the landowners bring it to the right-of-way or the curbside, we are picking that up as we go through. What we've told people that at this point we're not taking household debris or construction debris. We'll have to make that decision at some point. We want to see, get direction from you all on how you want to handle it. We also have met with, I met with Republic Services yesterday regarding the landfill. What we're taking or picking up now we can dispose of with the DNR burn regulations being lifted. We can burn anything, trees, and we found out yesterday also that we can also, or Sunday we found out that we can burn dimensional lumber as well as plywood, but we cannot burn anything like vinyl siding, insulation, roofing, you know, any type of other household debris. So what we've told the guys, if it's there and it's clean, we're just going to go ahead and pick it up. That's on our right-of-way. We've not seen, I haven't been out. We did have a lot of volunteer groups, as Bill alluded to this weekend. I know they were down in the Heritage Highway area helping. I received a call this morning from the Twin Bridges Trailer Park if we could provide any assistance to removing of that construction and household debris. I told them to call 211 at this point, that the county's not made any decision one way or the other. So we're not going to pick, at some point, we've got to pick up what's debris on our right-of-way as far as household. We've got a lot of metal, insulation, some lumber here and there. But we do need a determination from you all what you want us to do. Are we going to accept construction debris from private property? I know there's an issue there with insurance, you know, if they're being paid to get rid of it, you know, versus us actually disposing on it. This is not going to be a cheap fix. Right now, the disposal rate at Republic is $61.40 per ton. Their normal, they every year reevaluate their rates. On June 1st, it's going up to $63.25. Now, there is additional environmental charges and fuel surcharge on top of that that'll add to it. At this point, we don't know as far as, you know, an exact price what we'll be paying per ton to do this. We've met with, like I said, with Republic. We've got it worked out. Once we do start hauling, we'll have to get our trucks, you know, get the tires off of it. We're going to have, they're going to have a choke point, and that's going to be the scales. At least initially, the trucks going in will have to be weighed going in, and then when they come back out to get the tire weight, so they're going to have to stop traffic, go over the scales, let the trucks coming out, and it's not just us, it's everybody, to be able to get the tire weight. So we've got some issues that we need to work through. We also met with SEMA. Again, like Bill, I think it was Friday, we met with Representative SEMA. He was unable to give us an exact time when and if we'll get a federal declaration. I know that northeast part of the state that's been dealt problems with flooding. Still haven't seen any funding. I think it's being held up in Congress. I don't know that for a fact. I just know that they're not receiving funding at this point. I just want, you know, if we decide to take household waste, everybody to be cognizant of the point of the expense we're going to incur. I'm sure Republic's not going to wait until we do get reimbursement to be paid. So it's going to have to come from somewhere. I don't know if our budget, I don't think our budget will be able to handle it. So, you know, we're going to have to look at how we'd want to pay for it if you all decide to choose it. We are going to have some expense just from the stuff that's out on our right of way. What I'm afraid will happen if we decide not to, once we start picking up the construction debris, I'm afraid they'll start moving stuff out there. And how we're going to be able to determine what's ours and what was on private property. So again, that's a question for you all. If you can give us some guidance at some point. I know it's a lot to think of this morning, but you know, we need to think on this. The city is going to do curbside pickup of household waste, and I can see people out in the county assuming that we're going to do the same. So I'm not sure how you all want to handle it.
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we're not gonna take tires and, because
Well,
people will put all kinds of stuff
you know,
out.
Republic-
But I think,
Republic, at this point, can't accept it, but they're not gonna pull them out. If we do have materials like that, and I haven't seen any tires out there
Yeah.
right away. I've not driven everything. I've driven a lot of it over the weekend. We did work overtime. Starting that night, we brought in a full crew for everybody we could reach. Wednesday night, we worked a full day, 10-hour day. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we gave the employees off Sunday and Monday. Some of them to be able to do repairs on their own property. I know, like myself, we didn't experience any damage on our home or buildings, but I do have a lot of fences down that I'm trying to work through at the same time. You know, we've all got issues. You know, we're still doing our jobs, but you know, we've got things that we need to address personally too at some point, so.
These will be certain zones of the county, right? I mean, it's just, yeah, so.
You know,
I'm not in favor of picking up trash, so not in favor of picking up any building debris or any household waste. Obviously, if there's bits and pieces here and there, but I think you'll be able to determine when people are sitting stuff out by the curb. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a huge pile of stuff. I mean, obviously, if there's things that is just blown into the right of way that we need to get cleaned up, I'm okay with that. But I mean, obviously, we've had huge expenses. You all have already had huge expenses in overtime and fuel and machine costs and everything else, trying to get rid of just the brush.
one thing I would like to point out, Thursday morning, I was contacted by the Cole County Fire Department and asked if they could fuel at our facility just because of the loss of electricity in most of the area. Gas stations, we did fuel them. We are going to bill them for that fuel. We kept records of it, so we will bill them back. I haven't done it yet, but we will bill them. But I made a decision to go ahead and allow the fire department, and I actually was there at the gas pumps getting the number of gallons myself. So I've got that on my desk. When I get time, I'll send them, and they know this, and that's what they said. Just send us a bill and we'll get you paid. So we're going to try and get that done this week too. So, but I'm not at this point asking for a final determination on the household waste unless you want to, if you want to talk about it that amongst yourselves. That's up to you all. We've got enough work probably at least all of this week to just picking up tree limbs and tree debris that we're dealing with. I know there's a large area in the Donnie Braun area that we've got a lot of construction debris. They've been reaching out to DNR. I've seen reports come through the EOC where they've reached out. They are going to allow them to burn. I don't know if they're going to try and burn on site or what they're going to do with the dimensional lumber and plywood and stuff. They're going to have to separate it out to where there's no roofing materials in there, as well as personal goods. That's something that the Braun family is still trying to work through. We've got another area down on Heritage Highway or around the Twin Bridges trailer park in that area, as well as some homes in that area, permanent homes that were destroyed. So it's going to be an issue that, you know, we'll need some guidance on sometime this week to be able to move forward with it.
I think we need to make a decision. I mean, people are cleaning stuff up right now. They're putting brush out in the right of way. They're putting logs, stumps, whatever in the right of way, knowing that we're going to pick that stuff up. I mean, so if we don't let them know that we're not going to pick all this trash and stuff up, they're going to pile it up out in the right of way thinking that we
What we're
are.
doing with the debris is very similar, in fact, exactly what we did with the ice storm several years ago. We took care of the picking up of that debris, but we've not experienced where we've had this wholesale destruction of homes and buildings and stuff. It starts all the way from the AA line, as Sam or as Bill talked about. Some of my people work with the SAVE group Saturday to send them out with the engineers and architects that volunteer for this group, and we've got a pretty good listing of heavily damaged homes. Now, SAVE was not marking homes that just lost shingles and stuff like that. I know out in the area around my house, there's a large number of homes that lost a lot of shingles, but they were not included in the count. So at some point in this federal declaration, we're going to have to get a number or somehow get access to some kind of count so we include them in the damage amount. But I understand what Chris is saying. Again, that's I feel that's a decision that needs to be made by the three of you on what we want to do. So
but at some future date, would we get reimbursed for part of this, most of it?
I don't know, Sam, it depends, how the, declaration is written, I don't know. I know it during the ice storm, and I'm pretty sure that they'll allow us to, take care of the woody debris, but I don't have any idea. We've never been through something like this in the county where we had this large amount of household debris, from the homes. I don't know. I was hoping that we would get a declaration fairly quickly, but we're getting close to being a week into it. Again, like I alluded to earlier, the people up in the northeast part of the state that started experiencing the flooding back in, I think it was in April, they still haven't heard anything or not seen any funding yet. I think there's been a declaration there, but I don't know if they've ever started receiving any funding yet.
I think it's still in the House. It's what Senator Hawley had
That's-
said Saturday, so,
I've not had,
but I,
with everything else, I've not had time to try and keep up with
no.
where that's at.
I wasn't aware of it either until,
I did meet with Alan Pringer with the city from SEMA, and he was unable. He said, you know, basically the same thing. It's being held up. We don't know, so.
I mean, so they're probably 40 hours plus into it already.
the-
I mean, 40 hours a week, you know, you got
Oh,
a
we've
full,
got-
full plus week into it already.
Yeah.
You're gonna have another full plus week just picking up brush this week, maybe another week, and we haven't even started talking about building debris. So, I mean, you could be talking about another 6 weeks of
That's-
time, and we have other projects that we need to take care of as well. And so, you know, what do you wanna spend our resources on? And this could blow your budget for the whole year and take a huge hit, so,
Well, again, that's, if we decide to move forward, again, I don't think our budget's gonna be able to withstand this without some kind of a transfer someplace. So we're gonna have to make some hard decisions on what we wanna try and do. Because, you know, like in the past, and I think Debbie and Christian will back me up, you know, we spend the money up front, and we're paying the bills up front. Now, the reimbursement usually comes quite some time later. So, if we do decide to go forward, we're gonna have to figure out where the money's gonna come from.
yeah. Well,
Just like
we have
Chris-
never been through something like this, so
Well, like
I think we need to try to,
Well, like Chris said, you know, the sooner we can make a decision, yes or no, it needs to be met, because I'm afraid that people are gonna start moving them out. Pretty well everybody knows, and that's what we've been putting out on news media, that we are only taking woody debris, at this point. And we have to stay within our right-of-way boundaries to, you know, we can't go on private property to pick it up, so, that's, you know, it has to be off of one of our roads that we maintain, not MoDOT's roads. You know, if they live along AA or Route D, we can't pick it up off there. That would be up to MoDOT. That's some of the issue I think we got into with the ice storm, is that people that lived along state routes put their debris out thinking it'd be picked up, but we cannot pick it up off state highways. It has to be off of our roads, and MoDOT's not equipped, nor are they, at least during the ice storm, what I heard, they had to do a bunch of hoops to get that picked up the last time. So we want to make sure everybody knows that the trees and stuff that we're picking up is only off our roads.
okay.
We can't go along on any state highways, or if it's a private road, private maintained, if we physically do not maintain that road, there's roads out there that has public right-of-way, but we do not maintain, and we cannot go on those roads unless we maintain them.
well, I think another point to clarify too is that obviously stuff is in the right of way, but it's still physically on those people's property. I mean, yeah, it's a utility right of way or a road right of way, but it's not on our property. It's on their property. I mean, so, yeah, we maintain some of that, but sometimes individuals maintain their own right of way. I mean, they mow it, they do whatever to it. They can't put structures on it, obviously, but it's still their property all the way to the road. So,
So, again, I'm not asking it at this time, I know it's a lot to hit you with on a Monday, but it's something that we do need a decision on.
it's Tuesday, Larry.
Or Tuesday. Between the weekend, working what we did and trying to repair the damages at my own place, this has been running together. I know it's
And
been,
the flood, so I appreciate what you guys do between the
Yeah,
flood.
But I agree with Larry, we're gonna have to make a decision pretty soon, because Heritage up there, they are putting it out. They do have brush on top of households, so.
I have not been up there today. I know that there's some people out in that area that are burning stuff. You know, that's up to them to make sure they're doing everything correctly. You could see the evidence of that in several areas this weekend where they've been taking upon themselves to get rid of it. So. We're seeing a lot of progress. I mean, a lot of the areas with the voluntary groups, we're seeing a lot of progress of trying to get things back to normal, but we do have to make decisions. Another side note, I have made arrangements, or working with Christie down at the Health Department. Most of us that went through the 93 and 95 floods have gotten our Hep B shots. But we've got a lot of new people, so we're working with them. It's a series of 3 shots that our workers will have access if they so choose to have it. And we're not going to force them, but we're going to strongly suggest that they get them, as well as tetanus. We're working through, we just forwarded a list of our employees to Christie. She's going to check the database to see who's had tetanus and the Hep 3 shots to be able to find out how many vaccines we're going to need. The Hep B shots, and I don't remember because it's been 20 plus years ago when I took them, they're not all given at the same time. They're given in stages. One's given, and then I don't remember if it's a week later or after a period, another's given, and then there's a third one even beyond that to be fully immunized for the Hep B. So we're trying to look out for our people. We did tell our guys when we called them if they had damage. We had one of our employees that had pretty significant damage with his home. We told him to take care of his family first, and then when he got them settled in, then come into work. But we've been letting them work through their personal problems before they come in. I don't want somebody worrying about that and not thinking of what they're doing and getting someone hurt. So
if we don't make a decision today, then we're picking up woody debris only.
that's, until I hear from you all, we're only picking up woody debris at this point.
And that would that include logs and stumps, or?
We're taking everything at this point. If they can get it out to the right of way, we're taking everything.
Because I've had people ask about stumps, and anyway,
I don't know if-
I've told them no.
Yeah.
No stumps, just because.
I don't think we've gotten a few, okay. Larry's been
I mean,
staying on
obviously,
top.
the smaller ones people can handle, but I mean, I've had contact about stumps the size of a dump truck bed, and I was like, no.
Oh, there's some
Oh, yeah.
trees where you see the roots have come up.
Huh?
We haven't had none of them yet.
I-
Yeah, well, you would have had I not told him no.
See, I feel like we've got kind of the county was fortunate that we didn't get, we had damage, but if we've got the restrictions on MoDOT right of ways, I think we need to
Sam,
do
I
it for
don't
our.
think we can even, if we pick up anything off the state right away, I think that's gonna be.
No, I'm saying, I think with the restrictions we've got, I think it kind of limits us. I would like to see us provide that service to our citizens.
We just
but
need to make sure
that's,
that if we do decide to pick up anything, that we make it known that that does not include state right of way. 'cause
Yeah,
that-
oh yeah, I think,
If you don't need anything further from us, we need to go to a briefing down city at DOC, so
Yep.
we're headed down there next. So if you'll let us know once you all have a chance, or if you need for us to come back, we'll be more than glad to come back and meet with you some more to go over that. So if not, we're going to step out and go down to the EOC.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank everybody out there.
Will do.
Any other issues?
Well, we're gonna make a decision on that today.
Well, you're gonna be the deciding.
Well, I mean, if no decision means it stands exactly where it is. And so if we don't make a decision, that means we're not picking up trash. And we're just picking up brush and woody material, stuff that we can legally burn. So you could look at it that way too.
Okay, so if you all want to pick up trash at some other point, then you can put it on the agenda later on, or
Well, I'd like to decide today if we can.
I just don't think it's government function to be picking up my trash. If I got an outbuilding or something that gets blown over, I don't think that I should be relying on government to come pick it up at the end of my driveway, or if I throw it in the ditch to make them pick it up. So the vegetative stuff is one thing. We can help with that, and we can burn it.
I mean,
We're gonna open a can of worms here if we
Yeah.
start hauling off all trash. We're gonna be hauling off washing machines.
I mean, truly, if we had a tree down on the right of way and we came in and cleaned that up, that's our function. But when you start talking about, say I got a 5-acre property and it went through there and it knocked all kinds of trees down. And now I take all this trees and stuff and I put it out on the right of way for Cole County to take care of. Well, I probably should have just built a fire and burned it myself. But, I mean, how much are we gonna take care of that? I mean, we are helping people by taking this woody material and getting some of that out of their way. I mean, I just don't think you can take it all. I mean, we'll be working all summer on this. I mean, I feel for these people, and I think there's people out there that will help them get that stuff picked up. And obviously, if we can burn 2x4s and different things like that, so can they. And that's 90% of a house is 2x4s, sheetrock. I mean, yeah, you're going to have some insulation, but at least it's light. I mean, I guarantee if you had a roof blow off, you'd probably smash that sucker up and light it and burn the shingles and everything with it. You're not going to take them off. But, I mean, I agree with Jeff. I just don't think that, I mean, we can't clean up someone's whole house, and I feel bad for them, but, I mean, if someone had a mobile home that got picked up and it landed on our road, that's a different story. I mean, we had to do something to clean up so
Well,
that we can
there's
get
some
through.
of that along Heritage Highway that we
Right.
got on there, so. And nobody talks as much about it or sees it driving down 54, so.
Right.
Coming through Jeff City, you see everything out there that got hammered, so. So, I mean, we don't need to make any motion, it's gonna leave it the same, or
That's what I'd
whatever.
like to
I know
see.
you were saying you might like to see it get cleaned up, but
Yeah, I can make a motion, but if it dies for like a second, then it's the same.
yeah. Okay.
So we'll
Just
just.
leave it the way it
leave
is
it
then
as
for
it
now.
is.
Okay.
Okay.
Something changes in the next, I mean, it's an extraordinary event, and there's a lot of hardships and misfortunes right now that we gotta deal with, and, I mean, even closing the business, the next morning, I mean, until we got here and really knew what was going on, we couldn't make that decision.
Oh, I know.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know we had an email about that too, about, some kind of policy.
Did we need to do something on that, by the way, Debbie? As far as closing county offices?
Oh,
I think the declaration will take care of that if we do see money back from feds, I would think. It seems like, I know we talked about that the last time we closed, that, we just have to keep an account of it all. But I think since that declaration had the same timing as this, I think we were a little bit slower on, or not, what was it? It was the court order or whatever Bill was asking you guys to sign.
It's a declaration.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as,
Closing
policy,
county offices.
closing the office, and I'm usually reluctant to do it until we get all the information, see what's going on, and we had that meeting at 7:30, and, I mean, we were being blocked from even getting down to City Hall, so you didn't really grasp it until that point, until the sun came up.
We do have a county policy on it, and I'm gonna follow that policy as far as
Mhm.
the time that people are gonna earn that we're here. and-
Sure.
But as far as, I thought at one point we had to do something, in the minutes to make sure that that was enough to receive refunding back from the
Mhm.
federals on that,
So we got two emails, one from the same one that emails our payroll information,
Uh-huh.
and I think we got one from you that went to all county
Yeah, I
employees,
sent
so.
it to both.
I mean, was that effective, so everybody knew what's going on at that point?
Yeah, it was
Um,
about 9:30.
Is that something we need to look at, you know, in the future, or, you know, even ice storms or whatever, we tell people, stay home, stay off the road, stuff like that, so. it
I
was-
think the
it was brought
article
up.
in the paper that Judge Joyce, where she had issued closing the state, the courts, I think that confused some of our employees maybe, but.
Well, I think
It always
the
does.
state thing was, they were dealing with flooding too.
Mhm.
So part of that was just twofold. But that first morning was the morning that was a mess. And you didn't realize it until you got here. So, that all the roads were closed and you couldn't, it was hard enough to get downtown,
Mhm.
so. And everybody
Debbie
needed-
and Chelsea and Joe were here, you were here.
Yeah, I mean, you can get here,
Yeah.
it just,
We had to beg to get through the.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
Friday was harder.
I mean Thursday morning, when I got here.
But did we need to reflect the vote that we took on, what was that, Wednesday morning?
Yeah, we can do that.
Thursday morning?
Thursday
Just to be
morning.
safe.
It's Thursday morning.
Okay.
Since this is the first meeting since that.
Right. So,
Closed county office, also,
Yeah.
except for exception personnel.
yeah, so Thursday morning, I don't remember what time it was.
It's about 7:30.
8:45.
Yeah.
1 o'clock.
Yeah. I made a motion to close county offices, and Sam seconded it.
I was absent.
Yes.
Okay, that way it's nice and.
Right. Well, it's reflected in the minutes.
You know.
Basically, we had a meeting as an emergency meeting, so.
Yeah, they came up here after the meeting and I split.
Okay. Anything else?
I have the minutes from the Cole County Soil and Water Conservation District Board meeting on April 23rd, 2019, which Len can add. Got anything?
No.
All right, I move we go into closed session pursuant to section 610.021 of the revised statutes of Missouri for responses to bids and negotiated contracts, sub 12.
Second.
Roll call?
Sam,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.